Celts, the people who lived in Scotland. In the early century AD, they had a form of alcoholic beverage made from fermented grains. Over time, this beverage evolved into what we now know as scotch, an industry that has a market cap of over $5 billion worldwide today. In the 15th century, whiskey was being produced in Scotland on a small scale, mostly by monasteries and local farmers. However, it wasn't until the 16th century that whiskey production began to expand in Europe and other parts of the world, with farmers and distillers using local grains such as barley and rye to produce larger quantities of whiskey. Scotch whiskey became popular in India during the British Raj. In this period, the British brought Scotch whiskey from Scotland to India for their leisure and entertainment, and it quickly became a favorite among the wealthy Indians when they socialized with the British in their social gatherings. In fact, the first Indian distillery was set up in Kasauli in 1820, and it produced a single malt whiskey known as Ceylon No. 1. The whiskey was produced exclusively for the British officers in India. Over the years, Scotch whiskey has become more popular in India, and many Indian entrepreneurs set up their own distilleries to produce Indian-made foreign liquor. However, the demand for Scotch whiskey continued to grow, and many foreign companies started importing their Scotch whiskey brands to India. Today, India is one of the largest consumers of Scotch whiskey in the world with a market share of $500 million, and the demand continues to grow. Is this the right time for you to invest in this industry? Let's find out in this episode of the FinTank.
Hey everyone, welcome to the FinTank. India has a rich history of producing alcoholic beverages, and in the recent years, Indian single malt whiskey has increasingly become popular. Some of them, such as Amrit, Old John, and Rampur, have done a business of over $500 million worldwide. Let's look into how you can benefit from their profit and make some money for yourself. Here are the top 10 stocks and ETFs you could invest in to get exposure into the Scotch industry. First, let's look into the ETFs. Number 1 is Nippon India ETF Dividend Opportunities. This is a popular ETF that invests in dividend yielding companies that has exposure to many other companies that make Scotch whiskies, such as United Spirits and Radico Khaitan. Number 2 is Invesco India Feeder. This one gives you exposure to the spirits industries indirectly. The underlying fund prominently invests in global companies that are engaged in production and distribution of consumer goods. Investing in it gives you exposure to consumer goods under which spirits fall, along with other industries such as healthcare, technologies, leisure and entertainment, and e-commerce. Number 3 is SBI Magnum Global Fund. This mutual fund invests in global equity and equity-related instruments. As a global fund, SBI Magnum invests in many companies, including spirits industry. Now let's look into the stocks. Number 1, we have United Spirits Limited. It's an Indian company that produces a range of spirits, including Scotch whiskey. The company owns many popular Scotch whiskey brands such as VAT 69 and Black Dog. Number 2 is Radico Khaitan Limited. It's again an Indian company that produces a range of alcoholic beverages, including Scotch whiskey. The company owns many popular Scotch whiskey brands such as 8PM and Rampur. Number 3 is Diageo India Private Limited. This is a subsidiary of Diageo PLC, which is a British company that produces a range of alcoholic beverages. The Indian subsidiary specifically owns many popular Scotch brands such as Johnnie Walker. Number 4 is Pernod Ricard India Private Limited. This is another subsidiary of a French multinational company but operates in India and owns popular Scotch brands such as Chivas Regal and Ballantine's. Number 5 is AGI Greenpack Limited. AGI produces glass bottles in which whiskies are packaged. This stock has generated a staggering return of over 350% in the last 3 years. Number 6 is Easter Industries. Easter is the largest manufacturer of creating the labels and stickers which go on the bottle. In the last 3 years, they have generated a 240% return. And finally, last but not the least, which is number 7, is TCPL Packaging Limited. TCPL makes the cardboard boxes of the bottles and is the official packaging manufacturer of many big brands in the industry. In the last 3 years, they have made a staggering return of over 400%. So, those were the stocks and ETFs which you could invest in to get exposure to the scotch industry. But a quick disclaimer that all the stocks mentioned in this video are for your information purpose only, and they're not an investment advice. So before doing any investments, please do your own research and then decide if this fits into your financial planning strategy or not, and only then invest in them. Hope you enjoyed the video and got to learn something new today. If you enjoy drinking scotch, please let us know what's your favorite dram in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. This is Dee signing off from the FinTank.